Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. We are in the midst of going through chapter 1 of Deuteronomy right now. And remember, Deuteronomy is really kind of a sermon, or it's kind of the last words that Moses said to the people of Israel. And so he's just going along, and right at the beginning here, he's kind of recounting the history of Israel and the journey they had, just so they wouldn't forget. Because if we don't remember our history, we're bound to do it again. Okay, there's someone famous quoted that, or said that, and now I'm quoting it in a rough way. So today, it's entitled, "You Are Too Great a Burden to Carry." You're going to see what I read here today. That's what Moses was saying. You're too great a burden to carry. There's a plus thing that I want to say about this, and there's a negative thing, a positive and a negative thing about this. But I want to read first from Deuteronomy chapter 1, and I'm going to read from verses 9 to 18 here. Okay? It says this: "At that time I said to you, you are too heavy a burden for me to carry alone." Okay? We'll get into that whole phrase in a little bit here. Verse 10, "The Lord your God has increased your numbers, so that today you are as numerous as the stars in the sky. May the Lord, the God of your ancestors, increase you 1,000 times, and bless you as he has promised. But how can I bear your problems and your burdens and your disputes all by myself? Choose some wise and understanding and respected men from each of your tribes, and I will set them over you." You answered me, "What you propose to do is good." So I took the leading men of your tribes, wise and respected men, and appointed them to have authority over you, as commanders of thousands and hundreds and fifties and tens, and as tribal officials. And I charged your judges at that time, "Hear the disputes between your people and judge fairly, whether the case is between two Israelites or between an Israelite and a foreigner residing among you. Do not show partiality in judging. Hear both small and great alike. Do not be afraid of anyone, for judgment belongs to God. Bring me any case too hard for you, and I will hear it. And at that time I told you everything you were to do." Okay. So there's a plus and there's a positive and a negative with this whole thing here of really Moses saying, "You're too great, and I can't do this alone." So the first thing is this. Let me go over the positive here. Moses needed to delegate, and we're asked to do that a lot of times. When the job gets too big for us, we need to delegate. And as a pastor or as a Christian leader, we should be trying to work our way out of a job. We should be reaching people for Christ. We should be discipling them and training them up to hopefully take our place. Okay, so that should be happening, and hopefully that was happening with Moses, that he was training people up, and he did with his right-hand man Joshua, was training him up to be a person. So that requires delegation, like not selfishly holding on to it all. And I don't think that was what Moses' attitude was, like, "Oh, let me hold on to all this and keep the power all to myself." No, he wanted to distribute it out. Okay, so that's the positive, was he was distributing the authority and sharing that authority out and delegating. Now let me go over the negative here. When I go through the study, I listen to a lot of podcasts and teaching on it, and then read a lot of books on it, several commentaries that I read on this one. This one's actually John Maxwell wrote this one in Deuteronomy. And then J. Vernon McGee, I listened to him a lot too. And J. Vernon McGee brought out the negative of this thing, that if you looked closely, it says, "At that time I said to you, you are too heavy a burden for me to carry alone." Okay, so he was taking the burden upon himself. Who was the one that authorized him who's the one that asked him to do this? It was God. Okay, and so he's saying, "I can't do this on my own." Well, he wasn't trusting in God to help him with that, and for God to do this also. Okay, so that was a failure on Moses's part. But when he gave authority away and gave it to other people, J. Vernon McGee points out that eventually those people that the authority was given to, the priests and leaders and stuff like that, eventually they are the ones that eventually authorized Jesus to be crucified, all the way up until that point. That their leadership was not that great, going all the way through this time period, all the way to the time of Jesus. You don't find very many of these leaders that are known. Okay, most of the godly leaders end up being prophets. There are a few kings scattered through there, but these leaders didn't. None of them really turned out really, really great, that you can write home about, because they're not written about. Okay, so that's two things. So take that to heart. I mean, so there's the two things is that the delegation is needed. You need to give away authority, but you should be training up those people and giving that authority away and helping them to be godly leaders just like you are. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is trust in God. When you're called to lead, you need to be trusting in God for Him to help you in those situations too, and not just willy-nilly give that authority away because I can't do this anymore. You should be training up those leaders and then giving that away. Okay, hopefully that makes sense with everything here. But yeah, that's it for today. I want to thank you for watching. I am a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you next time as we continue our discussion on the book of Deuteronomy. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.